next here we have our friend Carylanne, and she's going to be sharing some inspiration with us. Carylanne is a spiritual mentor, a life and well-being coach, Reiki master, energy practitioner, meditation facilitator, guide, and friend to many. She inspires people to live their best life and to live in love, peace, joy, light, and authentic self-expression. Carylanne is a lover of nature and its exquisite beauty. She is an ordained minister with the Order of Melchizedek. For 27 years, her holistic health and healing practice, Carylanne Wellness, has been here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. You can contact her at carylanne.com. She's also offering sessions online during these times. Gosh, 27 years, Carylanne, you must have been like 3 when you started. Okay, good. Welcome, Carylanne.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What a great morning. And I love that song about the fishing. I love that. Really touches my heart. My dad was a avid fisherman, and he taught us when we were young, and that was really sweet. And I love the children's song and all the music. So it's good to be here. It's good to be alive today. This is the day that the Lord has made, as Susan said. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. You know, November for me is just one of the most magical times because I absolutely love the whole way that the universe comes alive in gratitude and thanksgiving. And I know that that's ongoing throughout the year, but during this time, it seems like it's everywhere, and I just believe that God knew that we were going to need that, and that was set in motion, a long time ago. So the inspiration for my talk today about your inner GPS, your inner guidance system, came from a story that I heard, which I'm going to talk about a little later, that moved me so much that it literally shifted where I was in my life, and it really made or helped me to get more in touch with that inner place, and I do that a lot in my work, but personally it took me into a different level. And so sometimes I think that, we humans, we're always looking for God. We're always wondering, and we're looking out instead of looking in. Because the presence, Spirit, lives within us. It's what made us. It's who we are. And I kind of wonder about this time that we're in and how we are all being guided to live more in the present, to listen within, to listen to that nudge, that voice, Spirit within, God, Creator, Source, however you call that higher presence. And when we do that, amazing things happen. It's kind of like the way everyone came together today. Everyone listened in to their inner voice that said, go to the fellowship today, or participate at the fellowship today. And it's funny, because I didn't know all that stuff about November 7th. I learned a lot today. But the number 7 and 11 have both been kind of lucky numbers for me. I like those numbers. And when Bruce said, which day would you want? It was like 7, 11, 7, yes. And so it was interesting. And so here we are, right? So I listen to the spiritual teacher Deepak Chopra a lot, and he said this, and I quote, "The true self, the soul, is where we access our higher self. And when we access our higher self, we fully unlock the divinity and grace of the universe." And I believe that that's true. I believe that when we tune in to that inner guidance system, that our intuition gets heightened, our lives become more magical, the recognition of doing that causes us to see things on the outer appear. And our inner GPS is always, always, always leading us to our good and leading our good to us. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I had planned on doing one thing on Saturday morning before I went to work, and then I meditated that morning, and I got this, no, go here. And I went there, and I made some new friends. And it just happened. It wasn't anything that I could have planned. I just listened. And the more that we listen, the more in tune we are. The more we listen to that inner, higher space, the more connected we feel, the more at peace we feel, the more hope we feel and experience at the same time. You know, and it's funny because as soon as I heard that story, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, other people started talking about listening to their divine self. Everywhere I went, it seems like everyone is talking about it. And even a friend sent me a text about God being their GPS. You know, just all this random stuff started happening, which isn't random. You know, it isn't random. And so last Wednesday I was facilitating a meditation, and we were doing some of Thich Nhat Hanh's method of meditation, where I love this meditation, so maybe we can do it together. He says, breathing in, become aware that you are breathing in. And breathing out, become aware that you are breathing out. Breathing in, become aware that you are breathing in. And breathing out, become aware that you are breathing out. Breathing in, I smile. And breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I connect within to the smile within. And breathing out, I smile. Take a breath here. Doesn't that feel all warm and yummy in your heart? It just feels so good. So again, it's that going inward, it's that listening in, it's that making space. You know, our higher self is waiting all the time. It's always here, right now, everywhere that we are. And when we tap in and tune in and attune to it, we are one with that which we call God, the source, the presence. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, I was looking at a scripture, and what came to me is, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not on your own understanding, and always acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And then I was looking up the word Lord, because in the Hebrew Bible, Lord means God. In the Islam text, it means master, nourisher, provider. But really, in all the cultures, or all the forms of worship, or all the I guess religions we could call them, the Lord is the presence. It's our spirit within. It's our higher self, right? So when we say, trust in the Lord, trust in your higher self, trust in the presence that is all love and all good all the time, that's what we're here to do. Do you ever notice when so I know all of us have gone through different challenges, especially in the last year or two, but I noticed a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, I was going through a really big challenge, and I knew I was in fear and I couldn't get out of it. And then I was talking to a friend, and I felt myself slowly coming out of it, and as soon as I came out of it, I reconnected to my higher self. So strongly that the next day I woke up and couldn't believe that all that other stuff had happened. But the thing is this. We come together here to celebrate love, to celebrate light, to be the light, to share the light, to be at peace, right? And to carry that peace. You know, I always remember, I've been coming here on and off for many, many years, and Bruce Shelton has always said, and take that peace with you. Take that love with you as you go out on your day. And I carry that. I carry his voice with me, you know? And so after going through that challenge, I came back into what was real. What is real is God in me, God in us, love in us, the presence in us. That's what's real, all the time, everywhere, every place, right? So this is my story that came to me through a nurse practitioner friend of mine, and it just deeply touched me. And the story is about a woman named Eve, her husband Charles, and her daughter Grace. And Eve was coming to her last days, and she was at home, but she was having trouble breathing, and so she asked to be taken to the hospital. And so they gathered Eve and all of her things together, and they got into the car, and they were going to go to the hospital. And so Grace puts the address of the hospital into the GPS. Trust your GPS. Listen to your GPS. Now, sometimes the GPS has a mind of its own, which I consider the mind of God, in a way. So they get into the car, so they're in the car, she puts the address in and starts driving, and the father says, no, you're going the wrong way, it's going to take too long, and she said, well, this is the way that we're being guided to go. And so, Charles, the father, he's very upset, and he's having trouble calming down, and Grace says, Dad, let's just trust, we're going where we're guided to go here. And so, a minute down the road, they passed the church that they had been going to for years. And Eve starts to feel the presence, and she says, there's our church. And so, the energy in the car calms down, and it was almost like, well, it was literally like, God was just lifting them into this amazing experience. And so you could even feel the whole mood changing. And so then they're driving along, and they come to this bakery on the corner, and they're at the light. And this is a bakery where they bought bread for years and years and years. And Grace says to her father, Dad, you want to jump out and get a loaf of bread? And Eve's like, yes, let's get a loaf of bread. So she turns so they can park, and he jumps in and gets the loaf of bread. And he comes back with this fresh loaf of bread, and the smell of the bread infuses the car. And Eve is just, her breathing is fine, she's feeling wonderful, everyone is just feeling touched by Spirit. And Charles begins to change in a way that he hadn't in a long time. And then they drive by, and there's a park that they used to walk at. And then and all these places are appearing, and Eve says, gosh, I feel like I'm just revisiting my whole life on this drive. And I believe she was, in a way. And so they get to the hospital, and they're all in just a state of awe of what they've experienced. And Eve says, Eve says, I almost can't believe it. Even now, God is showing us how loved we all are. And all we need to do is trust and allow ourselves to be guided to see how beautiful life really is. And that really happened. That really happened. And that just touched me in such a way that I was like, well, this is what I want to share, because that's happening for us all the time when we listen to our inner voice, when we allow the presence to guide us everywhere in everything, even when we think, no, I need to do it that way, or I should go here. You know, when we pause and tune in, we're exactly where we're meant to be all the time. So I think Eve spent maybe 3 or 4 days in the hospital before she made her transition, and for their entire family, it was such an incredible gift, all because they listened and they allowed themselves to be guided. And they were just so completely blessed by this experience that they had. So the next time you're driving in your car and your GPS takes you to a place and you don't know where you're going, just trust. Trust that God has you, because the universe has us all the time, every time. And so it is. So thank you. I enjoyed being here today. And may we all, my prayer today is that may we all be a blessing, may we be blessed, and maybe now we could listen more within. We can live more from that place and share from that place in the world. Thank you.